One of the easiest ways for you to waste time in your reselling business is starting from scratch when you don't have to. Any task or process that you're going to be repeating more than a handful of times within a given week should be well documented or put into a template, especially if that task involves you typing up text or creating sentences, which is the case for your Poshmark titles and descriptions. I've talked all about title templates in a past video, which I will be sure to link in the description below. In today's video, the main focus is going to be Poshmark description templates. I'm going to tell you all about the benefits of using a description template. I'll go over some important details you should put into a template. I'll also be showing you how to structure a template so that it is visually appealing and easy to read. And in the end, I'll show you how to use List Perfectly to save and access your templates when needed. Let's start off by getting real clear on what a template is. A template is a pre-created document that people use for frequently repeated tasks. This pre-created document will have content on there already with some space holders in between. For you, a description template is going to have content on it that never changes. And the placeholders that are in between is going to be there for the meantime for that dynamic data that does change from time to time. One of the main benefits of using description templates is that they save you so much time because you won't have to start from scratch every time you start a new listing. You will already have a blueprint to work off of. The second benefit is that you're less likely to make mistakes because you won't forget important information like condition, flaws, size, measurements, and a very important part of a description, keywords. All you're doing is filling in the blanks when you're using a template, so you'll be sure that the important details are always in your listings before you publish them. Another huge benefit of having not just templates but well documented processes in general is that you'll be ready to teach it to others when you're ready to hire help as you grow your reselling business. You will already have some sort of manual to hand over to others so they can take over certain tasks. So hopefully you're now convinced that templates are useful and an important part of running an efficient reselling business. Now let's talk about what information you should put into a description template. Some very useful advice I heard once was to take pictures of your item as if the listing was not going to have a description explaining what the item is, and to write a description for your item as if you weren't going to have the opportunity to add any images to showcase your item. So basically with your Poshmark description, what you're trying to do is paint a vivid picture of what the item is, but in words. This will ensure that the buyer knows exactly what they're getting, and it will also give you the opportunity to add as many relevant keywords to your listings as possible, which, as we talked about in last week's video, keywords help your items get found. I could give you a long list of things to put into a description, but it really does depend on what you'll be listing. So what I recommend you do is go to eBay for guidance. This is exactly what I did to create the templates that I'm currently using. On the eBay website, you're going to search up the type of item that you're creating a template for. I am going to search up women's boots. From the search results, just go ahead and click on any listing or find one that looks the most similar to what you're trying to create a template for. Right below the listing, you'll see something that says sell now. So go ahead and click that, and then it will open up the listing page for you. You may have to have an eBay selling account to get to this listing page, so hopefully you have one already. If you don't have an eBay account, I'd say that it is well worth it to go ahead and create one, even if you don't plan on listing on eBay anytime soon, because it is beyond helpful for the purpose of creating these templates. When you are here, go ahead and scroll down to where it says item specifics. And what you're going to do here is use all of these drop-down menus that eBay has as a reference to get ideas on the type of details you should include in your Poshmark description template. eBay does not play around. They really do push their sellers to put as much information as possible in a listing. They want you to create a robust, keyword-heavy listing every time, which is why they do not rely on sellers to put all of that important information into a description. Instead, they have sellers fill out all of these different drop-down menus. This is why eBay is a great place to turn to when you want to know what to put in the description of any type of item on any other platform. The item specifics at the very top are required by eBay. Sellers cannot even post a listing if they don't have these filled out. And right below here it says buyers need these details to find your item. That is true here on eBay, and it's also true on Poshmark. So these top item specifics are really important. Go ahead and make note of these to put into your template later. The next set of specifics right here are additional and they are optional. eBay says here buyers also search these details. So although they're not super important like the top ones, they are useful. So go through these and pick out the ones you think would be useful for someone to know as they're browsing through your listing on Poshmark. Things like UPC, character, even other country sizes, I skip those. But something like this, the shoe shaft style, I do go ahead and add that to my templates because it's a great keyword to have in your Poshmark description, whether something is ankle, mid-calf, knee-high, over the knee. Lining material, I will add it only if the item I am listing specifically says it on the tag. I also add theme. This is kind of like the fashion aesthetic of the item you're listing. I add it here on eBay when I'm listing. I check the ones that apply, but I also add them at the bottom of my description on Poshmark, again for extra keywords. If you need help differentiating what fashion styles and aesthetics apply to your items, I did recently release an ebook to help you do that, so I will go ahead and link that in the description. Occasion is another one I am sure to check and to add to my templates. Features, I also use that one. Accents, I definitely use this one here. Toe shape is an important one, I think. Pattern, closure, season as well. The calf width and shoe width, I use those too. And the rest of these here, I skip for the most part. MPN, platform height, all of those I don't think are very necessary. Once you have all of the information ready to go that you'd like to add into a template, you're going to want to arrange it so that it is clear and organized. So let's talk about how to format your template. Well-written text usually has headings and subheadings, and it has varying text throughout with some words that are underlined, bold, or italicized. The problem is Poshmark does not have this capability yet. So you have to get creative and come up with your own ways of formatting your description so that it flows well and it's easy to read. You want to make it so that your buyer can quickly scan your description and find the exact information they're looking for within a matter of a second or two. Maybe someone is wondering if the item has any flaws that aren't visible in the pictures. They should be able to go to your description and quickly locate the portion where you talk about the condition. The same goes for size, for material, or anything else. The first tip I have for you for a well-formatted description template is to use some emojis or keyboard symbols. Emphasis on some, because if you use too many of these, it can start to look a bit bit cluttered and even a bit tacky. The second tip I have is to capitalize to emphasize. I like to capitalize the first word of each paragraph in my description. This just makes it easy to scan and to find information for potential buyers, but also I do have someone who helps me cross-list my items, so that makes it easy for her to quickly scan my description to find the information as she's cross-listing items. You can also capitalize words to emphasize certain disclaimers about an item or to point out unique features. Tip number 3 is to use white space. This is one of the most important concepts when it comes to design, whether it's graphic or written text. On your Poshmark description, the white space is going to be the space left in between different blocks of text. So basically what you want to do is write a short paragraph, hit enter 2 times before you start a new paragraph. This is going to give the text on the page some breathing room and make it look a lot less cluttered. I've heard Poshmark mention before that Google, the biggest search engine in the world, prefers paragraphs, but when all else fails, tip number 4 is to create lists. This is the easiest way to create that white space and to organize all of the details about your item. Tip number 5 is to look at other descriptions for inspiration on how to structure yours. So just go onto Poshmark, browse around, and see what descriptions entice you. Make note of what you do like about them and what you don't. I wouldn't say copy anyone's description structure exactly. It's just always better to develop your own style, but it's perfectly okay to go on there, pick a few, mix and match what you like about each to create your own style. Once you do have all of your templates ready to go, you're going to need a place to save them so that they're there and ready to use when you're listing your items. You can use something simple like a Google Docs or a Notes app to save your templates. This is what I did in the beginning when I was still trying to keep costs low because I was barely growing my business. But for those of you who are ready to invest in a software, I really do recommend List Perfectly for this. List Perfectly is the cross-listing and inventory management software that I use. I start all of my listings on List Perfectly, and from there I share them to other selling platforms. If you want to learn more about List Perfectly, I will leave a complete tutorial down in the description where it shows you how to use all of the other features. I will also leave a 30% off discount code down in the description. This software is an essential part of my reselling business for many reasons, but one of the main ones is for what we're talking about today. It makes it so easy to save and access my templates as I'm listing. When you log into List Perfectly, this is what the home page will look like. To get to the templates, you're going to hover over this listings text up here and select view/edit templates. And here are all my templates. As you can see here, it says that I have a total of 77 templates, but that is just because I have super old ones that I don't use anymore. I use maybe like 30 out of these 77 on the daily basis. I need to go in and delete a bunch, but I went ahead and put a number 2 in front of each of the templates that I do currently use. That way they're easy to find when I'm listing. In the beginning, it's probably best to keep it general and just create templates for overarching categories like pants, shoes, or tops. Then as you continue on, if you find yourself listing a certain type of item within a category often, then you can start creating your templates by subcategories. For the most part, I only list shoes nowadays, so I have a template for almost every style of shoe that I list. But I did not start off this way. I slowly, over time, grew my template collection as needed. This does not have to be time consuming, especially with List Perfectly, because once you create a template, you can always use this duplicate button to use this template as a template to create a new one. For example, I have this template here for ankle booties. I realized that I was listing lots of comfort ankle wedge boots every single week, so I went ahead and made a completely new template for that specifically, and that's the one below here. And all I did was came to this first one, click this duplicate button, and just went in here and made some changes. For example, in front of ankle, I went ahead and put comfort and wedge. A lot of the time, these kind of booties are platform style, so I went ahead and put that word in front of boots. Down here under the features and accents, I went ahead and added the feature comfort and cushioned. And more often than not, these kind of boots are career and work style boots, so those are the kind of tags I added at the bottom of this description template. So that's how easy it is to create one template and then duplicate it to create many more from there. But let's go ahead and back up a bit. I'm going to click this List Perfectly logo here to go back to the home screen so I can show you what it looks like to create one from scratch. Again, we're going to click on this listings tab here, and instead of going to the view and edit, we're going to click on add templates this time. The first thing you want to add to your template here on List Perfectly is a listing title. Here you could put something very general, such as the categories that you list in, like shoes, pants, or dress. But I like to take the opportunity to go ahead and build out as much of my title as possible. So I put something like this. That way, when I do use this template, it will speed up the listing process a lot more. I'm going to add the word example in front of this title just so that I remember to delete it later. Now for the description, you're going to want to put the information that never changes, and remember to leave blanks for that information that is going to change depending on the item that you're listing. So this is what mine would look like for some ankle wedge comfort booties. The first thing that I have here is a secondary title. This is not absolutely necessary. I just put this in my description to re-emphasize to the buyer what they're looking at, and also to talk a little bit more about the aesthetic of the item and the occasion that it's good for. Basically, just as an opportunity to talk more about the item and add more keywords. Next, I have the condition of the item. Most of the time, my items are gently used and in good condition, but if they're ever new, I'll go ahead and change this, or if they have a flaw, I explain further in this section. Then we have the size and measurements. For the length of long boots or the heel height, I just tell them to go ahead and see the pictures for those measurements. On the rare occasion that I list clothing, I also tell them to go ahead and see the pictures for the measurements, and I use some measurement templates that I created. I just take a picture of that and upload it. It's a lot easier and faster than trying to type out the sizes every time. I will link those measurement size charts in the description if you'd like to purchase them. After that, I talk about features and accents, and here's where I like to describe any unique details that the item has, like studs, details, tassels, or other embellishments. I also know any cool features that the item has, like memory foam, adjustable straps, or removable hoods for clothing. Just any cool things like that. I make note of that here. Next, I talk about the material of the item. I like to mention common things like whether it's leather, fabric, or suede, but I try to remember to give some extra information when possible. Like if the leather is soft or if the suede is waterproof, I go ahead and add it here. Or if it's slip resistant, I add that here under material too. Next is just a bit of extra information about me and how I run my business and what they can expect. I tell them that I accept offers, that I ship the same or the next day, that I post items daily, and then I just thank them for stopping by my shop. So that's what you can do at the bottom of your listing. Just tell them about your shipping time. If you offer bundle discounts, that's something you can put here, or just know any other business policies categories that a buyer should know about. The last bit here in the description are just extra tags. I put this section here just to add some extra keywords that I didn't get a chance to put up here, but I also put this here for the person who cross-lists for me. She uses this down here to know what keywords to select from eBay's drop-down menus. This makes it easy for her to find them. The next section of this template on List Perfectly is keywords, pricing, quantity, and other information right here. And this is what mine looks like. At the very top, I just have 3 keywords or tags that I put. Once I cross list, it will transfer over to Poshmark. Here is a Poshmark listing, and if I scroll down here, you will see the style tags, business, casual, and formal. So that is where those came from. This again is for the person who cross-lists for me. That way she knows how much an item weighs for eBay and what category she should choose on both of these platforms. When you're done filling out your template, just click this green button down here so that it saves, and you're done. And here's what the listing is going to look like once it is published on Poshmark. Here at the top, I have my primary title. Below that, I have the secondary title, and my well-organized description is down here. As you can see, I have these capital letters at the beginning of each paragraph just to make it very easy to read and easy for someone to scan it quickly and find what they're looking for. I have white space in between each block of text to balance everything out. And when it comes to the tags down here, I have like 3 or 4 times the space just so that my description doesn't get cluttered with all of these keywords. This is not information that the buyer needs to know. These keywords are just here for the search engine. If you'd like to learn more about List Perfectly, I will leave all of the information down in the description. Links to my products like the measurement charts and the keyword and fashion style ebook will be down in the description too. So check those out if you'd like. I really hope you found this video helpful. And that's all for me today. I'll see you next time.